Well, this is the Dove Lady, and I hope I can pull this off because I've got several things down on the bottom that I'm going to be bringing up. But first I want to tell you this is a reading of the preface, or the prelude rather, to the book The Universal One. And I will let it begin now, but while it is, you won't see the words as you see them now, because I'm going to switch over to a video I made of light and let that be in the background. So here I go. Hello, this is the Dove Lady again, and this is not going to be a complete reading of a book. I'm going to put the complete reading of this book, The Universal One by Walter Russell. I will put the playlist for that over into the description bar, and you can go there and hear most of all of the book except for a little at the very end. Now, these words are so beautiful. I love reading them and thinking about how we can reach this high, that we could solve all our problems and return our consciousness to that of God. So listen to what Walter Russell says about exactly that. The supreme service which man can render to evolving man is to answer for him dynamically the great, heretofore unanswerable question concerning the one universal force which man calls God, or mind, or by other names. For long ages, man has impatiently awaited the knowledge which would tear away the veil from the invisible universe which lies beyond his perception, and bring it within the range of both his perception and his exact comprehension. Mathematical and measurable proof of the existence of but one mind, one force, and one substance would give to man absolute control over matter, the power to create, even as God creates, and within the same limitations. Man is omnipotent when he but knows his omnipotence. Until that day he is but man. Voltaire said that man could never comprehend God, for man must be God to comprehend him. Man is God, and therefore God is within the comprehension of man. Man is mind. Man is matter. Mind and matter are one. God is mind. This is a universe of mind, a finite universe, limited as to cause and to the effect of cause. A universe of limitations cannot be infinite. There is no infinite universe. A finite universe, in which the effects of cause are limited, must also be limited as to cause. So when that measurable cause is known, then can man comprehend and measure all effects. The effects of cause are complex and mystify man, but cause itself is simple. The universe is a multiplicity of changing effects of but one unchanging cause. All things are universal. Nothing is which is not universal. Nothing is of itself alone. Man and mind and all creating things are universal. No man can say, I alone am I. There is but one universe, one mind, one force, one substance. When man knows this in measurable exactness, then will he have no limitations within those which are universal. He will then know that all knowledge exists within man, and is subject to his desire to recall it from within his inner mind. Knowledge is not acquired from without, but merely recollected from within. The recollection of knowledge from within is an electromagnetic process of thinking mind which is as exactly under man's control as is the generation of the same power to turn a wheel. Man must think in light. His thinking must be in terms of the electromagnetic periodicities, which measure all motion, for of such is he himself and nothing else. To know how to think in light from within is to open the doors of all knowledge. Omnipotence lies in perfect thinking. There is no power in this universe other than the energy of thinking mind. Thinking is the cause of motion, and the periodicities are states of motion caused by thinking. Caused by thinking mind, are registered in light, which man calls matter. Matter is light. Nothing is which is not light. We are prone to think that this civilization of ours is an extremely advanced one. On the contrary, man of today is in an exceedingly primitive state of his evolution. He is a bearer of heavy burdens, sweating at heavy labor in the bowels of the earth, because of his pitiful ignorance of universal power, which awaits only his knowledge to render it available for his free use. Knowledge of the one thing will lift the yoke which man has placed on his own shoulders. This knowledge is herein written down in the language of a new dynamic science. This knowledge is herein written down in the language of a new dynamic science of new concepts, which are measurable, which explain the heretofore unexplainable. Language is lacking in words to express new knowledge. Seemingly contradictory words must be used in the hope that the intent will be understood by taking all that is herein written and putting it together, rather than in trying to find comprehension through the analysis of a few inadequate words in isolated paragraphs. For all those questions which lie unanswered within the heart of man, there is a dynamic answer, such an answer as 2 and 2 makes 4. Faith and theory regarding the universal one need have no place in the thinking of man. They are wanderings in the dark. All things are answerable in light. The universe is a tonal one, a dimensionless universe of light. All nature is a series of orderly tonal periodicities of the one force, assembled into the complex ideal of thinking mind, and registered in light, or matter, or energy, in interchanging potentials, all of which are variable, yet comprehensible, and measurable states of motion of the one substance. All dimension is an illusion, an appearance due to rising potential, which must disappear into its inevitable sequence of lowering potential, and again appear in endless cycles of appearance, disappearance, and reappearance. Ecstatic man is he who can think in those high octaves of the inner mind, which has been termed spirit. Ecstatic man is inspired man of universal genius of inner thinking. Inspired man is he to come whose thinking will be from within in light, and it will be an ecstasy of thinking which will produce enduring things. That work which is created in ecstasy of inner thinking can alone endure. To think in light is not a new power being developed by evolving man. It is a power which is now within him, awaiting only his knowledge of the use of that power. It is merely the recognition by man of his absolute control of the many dimensions of the universal constant of energy, which constitutes the thinking process of mind. exactly as he can control the changing speeds of his motor car. When man can change the low speed of his objective thinking in this universe of dimension to the high speed of his inner thinking, where dimension disappears in light, then is he Superman. Then is he universal genius. Light is the universal language in which the divine concept is plainly written. Fundamentally wrong in its basic premises and wasteful in its practice, man's modern concept of the universe must be torn down and built again on truth as plainly told in light. Primitive in his concepts, man divides the universe into the seen and the unseen, then finds himself groping in the dark, blindfolded, hopelessly trying to find the way to the door to the Holy of Holies. There is no unseen universe. The way to that innermost sanctuary of the Most High is as clearly posted as the Lincoln Highway, but man has not been able to read the plainly worded messages written all along the way in light. Man's most wonderful of instruments, the spectroscope, has told him little, for he has not yet learned to read it. He does not know that those many lines of light are but letters of the alphabet of light, in which the Universal One registers his mighty thinking in the universal language of light. The spectrum of iron is to man naught but the spectrum of iron. To the cosmic import of those many glowing lines, he is indeed blind. Again, in helium, he reads the lines as helium lines and sees not in them the plain story simply told of 6 new elements of vast import awaiting man's use in the easing of his burden. And of those most important of the elements, which man calls the inert gases, nothing at all is known except that they will not combine with any other elements. Oh, the pity of it. Wrong concepts of the atom's structure and the modern electric theory of energy and its transmission, of conductivity, radiation, and gravitation, and of that electrochemical state of opposed motion called luminosity. All of these wrong concepts of motion and of matter must be remolded on truth. With truth comes knowledge, and with knowledge power to transmute at will and simply plentiful substances of matter into those which are the rarest to meet the needs of man. There is no substance which nature produces which man cannot produce, or synthesize, or create from apparent nothingness, when he knows that which is herein written down and charted. Man's miracles of today become commonplace events of tomorrow. Civilizations come and go, exalted by man's thinking, or by it plunged into the abyss of darkness, of darkened ages. This message is for all mankind and not for the few, for it is placing within his hands a power which could either glorify or frightfully enslave him, in accord with the usage of that power. Either way it matters not, for in the end truth will survive and man will complete his destiny. Truth lives. There is naught but truth, and that which appears to be otherwise has no existence, and therefore it is not, nor ever will be. Walter Russell. And that part I just read where he said, truth lives, there is naught but truth, and that which appears to be otherwise has no existence, and therefore is not, nor ever will be. That reminds me of the beginning sentence in the Course in Miracles. It says, "Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God." So that's...
Okay, therein lies the peace of God. And I have found out that while I have too many things running, some things don't run at all, and they interfere with the voice. That was a recording of me reading from a book called The Universal One by Walter Russell. And I'm going to exit out of there, if that will let me, and close that YouTube channel so that I might be able to show you some of my latest pictures. Close that one with the light too. Some of my latest still pictures of light. I'll get this going now. It should work. This is taken with my older camera, which captures a certain segment of the light that the newest camera doesn't want to get. And in my old camera is the one that has so many of the little growing number of artifacts that always show up in the same place, and they seem to be living in my camera and increasing in number, because I'm seeing ones on there now that I haven't seen before. Like that one, I don't know if you can see me point to it, but since they show up in the same place, I think they must be part of the camera now. I love this camera, even though it's kind of getting to where I can't zoom in and out when I'm using it as video. But it still captures part of the light that the other camera won't get. See all those little tiny circles? Everything inside the orb is a circle. And all of it's inside of a circle that can be so flexible that that orb shape can become like a ribbon or a fan, or just twist and turn till you cannot even recognize what it is. So I'll just fill out the rest of this video just showing you some of the orbs I've been taking pictures of that are orbs of light, because light in this state is orb-like, but orbs aren't limited by any means. Their movements are fantastic. I see things in these orbs and I think, what is that? But then I don't know what anything is that's in it. Really, I don't know this language of light, except there goes my little friend Harry. He comes into the orbs quite a lot, and I've given him a name because I see him so often. I call him Harry because he looks a little bit like a little hairy spider. Maybe I'm the very first person to ever have a light creature friend. There's nothing very familiar, except you can see the vesica Pisces a lot, where these circles overlap one another. And there's so many circles that have concentric circles around them. And this well, no, this little thing right here I'm pointing to, that is an artifact in my camera. It shows up in the same place, but it looks similar to the things that are in the orbs. So I'm not at all sure what all these little artifacts really are. Okay, did I come to the end? I must have, because it stopped. So we'll go back to the library and show you some with my newest camera. Wait a minute, I didn't get to the end of that, because you didn't see all the pictures of Harry. There's Harry again, but he's kind of blurred. Sometimes I see him plainly, and then when I take his picture, he's all blurred, like in this one. There he is. He lives in a very colorful world, or dimension, or whatever you want to call it. These orbs are so intricate, and so the colors are done in such a way that you can just see depth. Like any artist would be glad to paint something that showed such dimensionality, such depth. And the use of colors is something else. See, that's Harry, but he turned out all blurry in that one. And there he is again. He lives in a strange kind of world. And I've been noticing that he's carrying around with him this little thing right here I'm pointing to, which goes way down. I might have pictures of that. Oh yes, it was in a video I made that I got pictures of that. I'm going to see if I can, oops, zoom in and let you see all the really tiny, tiny circles and colors, and it's just fantastic to look at this and try to imagine what in the world it means. Now this little thing, that's showing up real good, so I'm going to focus on her. I call this a little fairy. Might not be. Mostly when it's shown in the pictures, this is one of the artifacts. It's really dark and you can't make anything out of it. But it's rather distinct in this one, and it looks like a little fairy with wings. To me, you know, that's what I make out. But now all of my orbs that I take with this camera have two eyes in the same spot on each one of them. I call them eyes because they're real close together, and on this one here they are. There and there. And if you'll notice as they go by, there'll always be two rather darker circles that are right there. Sometimes they're not easy to notice because of the coloration. There they are in this one. And there they are in that one. Okay, well, I've taken so many pictures of the light. I put them all on this thing called My Passport, which has great capacity for a lot of pictures to be put on it. But the other day my daughter said, you know, I'm just going to erase them and use that passport one day when you're no longer with me, when I pass on to the other side. And it just hurts me to think that she would get rid of my pictures of orbs. So I put a lot on YouTube, so in case that ever happens, they're still around out there in cyber world. there's Harry again. And there he is again. Oh, and I will take you over here and show you. I had one of my pictures of Harry made onto canvas. And there it is. It's put on canvas. And also, let me show you this. I made, well, let's see, what can I have as a backdrop for that? This is a little, oh, I'm messing up really big time now. But that's it. It's made out of wire. It's made to look like Harry. I know that's weird. I'll show you something else. I made this. And it's the flower of life with the vector equilibrium built into it 3 times. It will go exactly 3 times. And when I built it, I went to the thrift store and found this black thing that so perfectly holds it. It was like it was meant to be. You know, one of those moments when you say, wow, that's a synchronicity. Anyway, I call that an example of maybe what the atom looks like. Because the flower of life is in there, and of all life sort of originates out of that flower of life. Anyway, this is the Dove Lady, and I will let you go. Over and out for now.